为了让你们看看我们面对的是多么……大家好，我是 Mutahar。这个文件来自司法部网站，这是爱泼斯坦文件泄露中的一份真实文件。为了让你们看看我们面对的是多么草率的政府。
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached it. There is Chinese Mutahar. You know, occasionally from time to time, I'll start my videos like, I'll switch to a different language, like मैं हिंदी बोलना शुरू करूँगा और बहुत लोग को समझ में नहीं आएगा मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ. But ladies and gentlemen, to give you an idea, it's actually kind of like a weird brain fart to switch languages that fast. But yeah, you know, obviously I'm not fluent in Chinese, ladies and gentlemen. Now, apparently that was me speaking Mandarin. Now, normally I wouldn't just make a video on this, but surprisingly, I was a little bit blown away by how good the actual translation is. Now, to give you an idea, I have turned off all dubbing and translation on my YouTube channel. For like half a year, everyone was complaining like, Muta, I live in like Italy, and suddenly there's an Italian woman talking in her voice, dubbing you over, which is really weird because not only does YouTube or like a lot of these auto dubbers get the fucking gender wrong for the most part, but it just is so out of place. Now, surprisingly, I actually sent this video over from Bilibili over to a friend of mine that can speak Mandarin, and apparently it turns out that it's actually like roughly 80 to 90% accurate, which isn't bad for an actual translation. Now, I didn't know this, but apparently on Bilibili, they've been cloning YouTubers. So, like, CoffeeZilla has been cloned, Asmongold has been cloned, Charlie has been cloned. Pretty much everyone has been cloned on this site. Now, I decided to go into Bilibili and just see what the fuck is going on, and I knew about Bilibili's existence. I've talked about it before, but to give you an idea, you know, the last time I saw myself here, some guy took Call of Duty 4 on the DS from me and decided to upload that on the channel, on Bilibili for a lot of the Chinese people to watch. For some reason, you got all these Chinese players who are just like, damn, I want to see this fat Indian guy play some COD 4 on the DS. Yeah. And I can't really read what they're writing here, but to give you an idea, Stan Getz, who apparently is level 5, actually, let me just translate that. What did he say? First time playing. It is my first time playing. Now, of course, obviously, since then, things have been pretty much quiet on the Bilibili front, but from time to time, they'll upload a bunch of videos, and specifically, I guess the Epstein stuff has been really an interest to the entire world because obviously, why not? Because it's such an insane story that is developing as time goes on. I do also have, unfortunately, another Epstein video, and I say unfortunately because I'm looking into it, but it seems like our own federal government might actually be distributing CSAM material. I mean, congratulations, guys. You can't do any arrests, but God knows you can keep victimizing the shit out of the people that don't need to be victimized any longer. Anyways, that's a whole different tangent. Probably we'll talk about it tomorrow or the day after. But anyways, right over here, this guy uploads this video for me talking about the Epstein files. Now, I want to listen to it a little bit closer because it is surprisingly good. Listen to this.
大家好，我是 Mutahar。这个文件来自司法部网站，这是爱泼斯坦文件泄露中的一份真实文件。为了让你们看看我们面对的是多么草率的政府工作，多么糟糕的政府掩盖，这是第203行到第206行的编辑遮挡部分。那么
Did I just say panchot? Like, what the For anyone that doesn't know, panchot is like a Hindi slur. Like, actually, I think it's Punjabi. It's like sister fucker or something. I don't know why. Every slur in South Asia has something to do with your sister. They just replace the mom with the sister at this point. Don't ask me why. I don't really know. It just exists. Obviously, the cadence and talk is actually quite interesting. So I want to listen a little bit more to this, just because it's that wild.
你要怎么去除遮挡某些行呢？如果我告诉你这些东西的编辑遮挡做得如此不专业，以至于像我这样的人可以直接高亮所有这些文本，对吧？点击按复制，在我的电脑上打开一个文本编辑器，然后就在这里粘贴出来，让任何人都能读。还记得这里第203行全部涂黑。
You know what's insane about it too is like I thought this was gonna be like a dub of me. It was gonna sound like some random Asian guy. But you know what's funny is like they actually got like kind of like my accent, my vocal pattern. Like it almost feels like I learned Chinese and started speaking it. Now it's obviously not perfect, but I feel like it's just so weird in the world of AI because I think they're starting to match vocal inflections pretty goddamn well. So, I might be I might be washed, boys. There might be an AI Muda that exists pretty goddamn soon. You can just prompt them to make any fucking video you want to. That is insane to see. So, of course, obviously, this was uploaded sometime at the end of last year, and this is just sort of something that keeps going on. Now, thankfully, I wanted to look a little bit deeper into this, and surprisingly, the Chinese people over here have given an exact example of the technology they used to apparently dub us. So apparently right here, this GitHub link leads to something known as UDub Web UI. So I decided to go over here, and unfortunately, I just couldn't get this working simply because when you're dealing with a lot of these like Git projects, everything sort of works, but then they run into like issues where like a certain program or a certain feature set stops. And sure, I could go through dependency hell and fix this, but ultimately, I'm not going to, simply due to the fact that I have no interest in recreating this and connecting to things like OpenAI and contributing furthermore to this. I don't really know about this, but apparently it's so easy that you can run these Git projects and you can go down over here and it basically tells you how it works. So for instance, it just downloads videos for you. So apparently you just give a video URL to YouTube, it downloads through like a downloader tool or whatever. Don't know if I can exactly name it. Then it actually throws your video into something known as Whisper. And for anybody that doesn't know what Whisper is actually it's actually a automatic speech recognition tool. I think it actually goes through OpenAI, but you can actually run it separately where like you throw in your audio and it just like transcribes. And once they transcribe it, they translate it and then they throw it back into this tool, which uses an AI TTS to recreate the audio pretty goddamn synthetically. So yeah, we're at a point, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty soon with at least some level of decent video generation, and I talked about it like probably a week ago, but there's video generation models that a lot of these Chinese organizations are working at, where like video coherence can probably last for up to like 10 minutes at some point. But I would say that, generating a video of a fat Indian guy talking and having lip movements like match whatever they feed is not far off, okay? It really is not far off. We're getting to a point where impersonation on the internet is gonna get pretty goddamn wild. But yeah, before anybody goes, but Muda, can't you take this video down? First off, I really, don't want to, because I think for a lot of people in China, they actually might be enjoying the videos, and especially when it comes to reporting on shit regarding Epstein, I'd rather my videos reach every single person out there, okay? Honestly, if you could auto-dub this shit in the most, like, obscure languages and lead this on for the world, I wouldn't even mind it, okay? Honestly, I'd be interested listening to other languages than me, like Russian Muda, apparently using the same vocal inflections and patterns that I have. Now, of course, obviously, I made an account on Bilibili just so I could read some of the comments in the video. just so I could see what these Chinese people were saying about it, okay? If they were either talking shit or if they were actually being supportive. I don't want to freak people out, but the moment you open Bilibili's application, it just straight up is NSFW pornography, okay? So, do not recommend you get it. Okay? It seems like Chinese YouTube does not care about any adult material on the platform. But then again, neither did YouTube when naked yoga was a thing for a while. I love these comments, dude. Bilibili level 5 writes, after all, this is the loyal team where even the Minister of Education can misread AI as A1. Yes, the number one. Bro, they're just roasting America here, dude. God damn. Here's another commenter. There are still righteous people in the Ministry of Justice. I think this might be a translation thing. They might be talking about the DOJ and it just auto-translates to the Ministry of Justice. Here's the other one. Damn, this editor could even work for the government. I don't know what that necessarily means, but this user from Beijing could either be shitting on me or whatever. Here's the last one. Was it intentional or accidental? Of course, like slap on the face emoji. So yeah, you got some commenters, and apparently you can send things like Dan Moo, which I imagine is a currency. So whoever's out there earning money on it, I don't really give a shit, but it is definitely wild to see how insane the AI slop world has become. Where, it just keeps getting better. Like, there's one thing that somebody has always said. There's, like, one saying. It's like, the shittiest AI that releases, that's the shittiest it's gonna be until it eventually starts like mimicking and matching human inflections so well to the point that I feel like most of the viewers watching will probably not give a shit regardless of it. You know, as angry as anybody is going to be, regardless of like YouTube's push or any media like companies push towards like artificial intelligence slop on the platform, one day it's just going to get so good that most of the world will just be okay with it. So enjoy the last bit of humans you'll find on the internet, because I'm pretty sure down the road, most of the influencers we see, the talking heads you'll see, will never actually be a living talking head. It'll just exist as ones and zeros. Now, the only other platform that I actually do use as sort of an archive and like a mirror is Odyssey. So if you don't necessarily like YouTube, there is obviously Odyssey.com where I do stripe my content and upload it so people can watch it on an alternative platform, but definitely am not on Bilibili. It's just so wild to see. Now, of course, obviously with this kind of technology, the amount of shit that it consumes, the resources, it's a lot, okay? Even looking at older projects like, for instance, Zonos, for anybody that doesn't know this, with just 10 to 30 seconds of audio, literally according to them, if you have a 10 to 30 second sample, and so far, I've been recording for, you know what, like 11 minutes? You have all this audio sample. Grab that, throw it into these tools, have it learn, and then you can just spit out in real time actual voice patterns. And as long as you have like an RTX 4090 or above, which, yeah, granted, that's a pretty wildly like, you know, massive card. But, you know, for somebody that, God forbid, wants to do like scamming or whatever, right? Having something like this that's super duper high end is honestly the only thing that like freaks me out entirely. Like, just imagine using tools like this that sound nearly identical to the person and then using it to like log into things like banks for whatever. Like, you guys may not know this, but like banks in Canada have this weird feature where like the moment you call into them and like talk for a little bit, they like auto verify you based on your voice print. And obviously there's like other factors, but what freaks me out is like, wait a minute, if this stuff gets so good, what's going to happen when somebody just grabs an audio sample of me and starts talking to the bank? Probably shouldn't have told you guys this, but it's all the things that keep running through my head, right? But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Chinese Muda is here. Chinese Muda has been cloned to existence, and he's being uploaded on Bilibili. I have really no control over this. And, you know, it's not like I can get a fucking Chinese lawyer and get it taken down, because I'm pretty sure, you know, Chinese law isn't for this. But honestly, as far as transcribing stuff, it goes. However, that said, I don't think we're far off. We're like in 6 months to a year, Chinese Muda or Chinese Coffeezilla or Chinese Asmongold will actually be like created, like an actual AI reproduction of it, and then they'll just be making videos specifically catering to the Chinese audience. This, ladies and gentlemen, is just nothing more than the beginning. An artificial intelligence slop will constantly invade the entire platform. That said, I think this was specifically interesting because, you know, for the first time, it does blow my mind that I can actually hear my voice relatively close. Like, it actually sounds as if I had learned the Chinese language. Like, I learned Mandarin and I just started like spitting it out. And surprisingly, it is decently accurate enough to the point that at least the Chinese people are being educated about the Epstein stuff. Now, I'm going to keep my eyes on this. Maybe this shit might be a recurring character in our little internet bubble. But for now, it's just another internet horror that I feel like is worth seeing, you know? Not to say that, you know, dubs haven't existed of me or whatever. Like, people do take videos and, like, dub them around. It's just for the first time, it's surprisingly gotten that good. So yeah, I guess at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, zi huan di hua xing dian zhan ping yun jing yu. I can't believe I butchered that, but ladies and gentlemen, at least I put an honest effort into it. You know what? AI Chinese Muda is here, and it's about every bit as scary as I expected, man. Goddamn. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed today's little video. We had a little bit of a laugh. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you saw just the technologies that exist locally. I am out.